Hello fellow newcomers, welcome to another video, and before we start with today's video, make sure you have clicked the little bell button next to the subscription button so that all of my videos can reach your sub boxes. And a little bit of news, I will do my best to actually stream more on YouTube as well on Twitch. I hope to get at least one of each week, so I hope you guys like to join me. Please leave a comment down below on what kind of streams you would like. Would you like live lessons or tutorials or demonstrations or just painting and chatting? Make sure to leave a comment and I'll do my best to be active and hang out with you guys on both these platforms, because I know that a lot of you don't actually have Twitch, so a lot of you miss out on my streams on Twitch, and I want to really be there for everybody. So let's get back to the video. If you guys like to draw manga, make sure to check out my book Manga Crash Course, which has 6 months worth of lessons from my very own manga school, and of course my brand new book Manga Crash Course Fantasy, specialized in creating concept arts for anime, manga, video games, concept arts for fantasy fashion, creatures, characters, lands, even entire maps. So make sure to check out that book as well if you would like to draw something similar to the character you can see on the screen. And speaking of the character, I wanted to elaborate how I got to this concept, what this character role is, and let's begin. So as you can see, this character is one of the Diamond Family House characters. He is the Jack, but you will notice that visually he doesn't look much like other characters, because primarily I decided to make him, well, bald. I loosely based this character on character of Varys from Game of Thrones. He is a eunuch just like Varys, so I figured why not put him like hairless. Actually, I did not meant to make him bald because of Varys. I just wanted one character to be bald because usually you have such elaborate hairstyles and stuff when you design manga characters, and when you design a bald character, it's not that common, except for maybe Saitama. And usually when you do have a bald character, that actually represents a very different kind of character, very impactful character, so I wanted him to be very impactful in this world. As you can see, he is a very smiling, very silent kind of a character, and he has his raven on his shoulder to bring him mail and do a lot of different stuff, because ravens are something of a dream pet of mine. And I always wanted one because they're so intelligent. They can even learn how to speak. They can bring stuff to you. They can literally be your catcher dog or something like that. So imagine all the possibilities of carrier pigeon, sort of a raven, but with the ability to speak, with the ability to record voices and transfer gossips and important information from the battlefield straight to our Jack. This is the only Jack that doesn't deal in weapons. As I said, a lot of Jacks are their family's guardian. They are like a bodyguard, but he doesn't use any weapons except for the most powerful weapon, and that's information. So his little pet brings him so many juicy details nobody can actually get. He also is employed directly by the queen to do her bidding. Sometimes it's something simple, sometimes it's just working with other countries to bring more diplomacy, but also sometimes when the queen deems that she has a really bad situation and maybe an enemy she would like to get rid of quietly, and suddenly that's where our Jack comes in, because he is very skillful in a lot of different tricks, including poisons and devious strategies to get rid of somebody. So him and the queen are working together really closely on just maintaining the kingdom, because the king himself is a little bit crazy, as I explained in the previous video. So when your main monarch is not of sound mind, you need to do everything that's possible to maintain the balance in the kingdom. If somebody wants to overthrow the king, or maybe try to do some sort of a treason or anything like that, this is where Jack comes in with all of his information already ready and just reporting to the queen, so they can both try to work from the shadows and protect the kingdom. As you can see, his symbols are this little blanket on which he carries a goblet of wine if he's serving at maybe some sort of a special gala. He is the one who is always next to the royals, listening in to their stories. Sometimes he goes undercover to maybe impersonate a servant to get all of the juicy information. And on this other side of our Jack's picture, you see a little smoke skeleton rising from the goblet, because he is pouring a very special concoction inside of the goblet, and you can all guess what the concoction is. He's getting ready to get rid of a potential usurper to the throne, or maybe the king himself, once the king has drawn the line and just went berserk. So we'll see. But yeah, his job is, I think, the most important one from all of the Jacks, because Jacks usually just work on the battlefield. They bring their weapons. We have a paladin Jack, an assassin Jack, a mage Jack, and they'll just do what their kings and queens tell them to do. But this Jack in particular, he has a lot of self-initiative, and he is very loyal to his queen. If he wasn't, probably he could make the entire kingdom just disappear in flames if he wanted to, because he's so influential. He can go through all of the spheres of life. He can literally speak to the paupers on the street and the royals in the high gardens. So everything is under his control, because he never allows himself to be seen or noticed as somebody who is important, but he has ties to everybody who is important. So this is very, very powerful stuff when you know how much you can do with just a couple of secrets and blackmails in place, instead of just wielding a weapon and I don't know, fighting your lord's enemies and stuff like that. So that's for the character. And as for the drawing techniques, as you can see, I always use my trusty Copic markers, so all of my red shades are in place, in check. I always know which shades to use on all of the characters. I even have a little list. I even created small graphs so I can know which characters have which skin tone, because sometimes it's very important to pay attention to these little details when you do your characters, when you create your characters. Maybe you're creating races, or maybe you're creating characters from different areas of your world. Maybe some of the areas of the world have deserts in them, so you will need some darker skin tones. Maybe colder areas have lighter skin tones, and of course every other area, depending on the race, you can even have like different colors of the skin, maybe blue, maybe green, depending on kind of magic that this character is wielding. So these are all details that matter, and this is why Copics are preferred for professionals, because you can just have everything written down in a form of a graph and follow the graph, because nobody actually remembers all of this stuff. Everybody's just too busy just drawing, and to forget such small details is so easy. My personal recommendation is to always have a color chart near you to write down which colors you're using, because if you're doing something like a manga series or colored character sheets or anything like that, you need your basics written down so you don't forget the shades, you don't forget the main colors. Reason why I'm saying all of this is because I needed the same shade of red for the entire family of diamonds, because they are a royal family and all of their clothing needed to match, because their soldiers, their banners, their clothes, they all need to match the royal insignias. And to prevent my eye from being distracted from all of the patchy red surfaces, I was using this swirly method I literally invented for myself, where you just fill in the entire surface or the entire clothing area with swirls, so that the patchiness just gets covered up, I guess. And this is a trick I warmly recommend. Also, instead of swirls, you can use different textures and different types of colorings. So I really hope you enjoyed today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if you would like to learn how to draw manga, please check out my book Manga Crash Course, available in 4 different languages, as well as my latest book Manga Crash Course Fantasy.